ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Boilermaker fans around the globe, let me welcome you to the first ever edition of the For Pete's Sake podcast, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. This, my friends, our pilot episode, our lid lifter, our maiden voyage. It's as if the train is leaving the station, and we're happy that you have decided to join us here on For Pete's Sake, the podcast. Let me begin by introducing my co-host. He's an actor. He's a comedian. He's a content creator, whatever that is. You've seen him on the NFL Network and ESPN. The man is so popular, he has over 360,000 followers on Twitter, and he loves Purdue so much, he married a former Purdue cheerleader. Mr. Joey Mulinaro, everyone.
Hey,
Joey,
Rob, thank
welcome.
you, man. I felt like that was that T. Swift Kelsey podcast intro right there that you just gave me. That was awesome, dude, and I appreciate that a lot. Content creator, still trying to figure it out myself.
Yes,
I just
I
put
have
stuff
no idea.
online, and people, if they like it, they like it, and they follow. But so happy to be here, man. And, of course, Boilermaker fans, man who needs no introduction. You know you're with them throughout football season, throughout basketball season, every year for the last, 22, 21 years. Rob Blackman, voice of the Boilermakers. There he is. Hey.
Thank
Such
you.
an honor to be here with you, man. This is awesome.
Well, thank you for the kind introduction.
Yeah.
It is 22 years on the football broadcast for me, believe it or not,
Yeah.
starting with this season.
Yeah.
21 on basketball. Actually, what most folks don't know, Coach Painter and I started at the same time. His first year as head coach was my first year on the broadcast team. Most folks assume we were a package deal.
Yes.
But that's not the case.
Well, you both look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mid-50s. Really,
So,
really putting together.
so I think, Joey, this is our pilot episode.
Yeah.
This is the opening segment. We probably need to let our Purdue fans know why. The ultimate question, why a Purdue exclusive podcast for Pete's sake? I would say this, because our Purdue athletics fans demanded it. And this is the new world of podcasting. I know very little about podcasting simply because of my age demographic. You, however, know a lot about this. So if you don't mind, I'll be leaning on you quite heavily, at least the first few episodes.
Don't need to lean on me, but I mean, look at this wonderful set that we got here. I mean, Corey and Brad and Patrick, Mark, everybody. Shout out to everybody getting it together. This is so great. I mean, I think it's just amazing to have a one-stop shop and the access that we're going to be able to bring Boilermaker fans throughout the seasons, not only about football, not only about basketball, both men's and women's, be able to update them on Boilers and the pros, and be able to update them on what's going on with the volleyball program, everything. And I'm just really, really excited about it, man. We got a heck of a first show.
I know you have already found us, thus the reason you're watching and or listening to us. But if you have some friends that might be interested, here's how you can tell them to find us. Go to PurdueSports.com, right, the official website of Purdue Athletics. The Purdue Sports app, you hopefully have that on your phone. Spotify, Apple, YouTube.
YouTube's big.
That is.
You want to look at the set, and you want
Right,
to look at
right.
Rob in his mid-50s looking so good.
Thank you. Also, Twitter and Instagram. Do we call it Twitter? Again, I'm old.
Just stick with it.
Just say Twitter.
You always love the bits I do about Seinfeld. I don't know if I can say the Seinfeld. I did one about that. You know, you get one. You get one instance where you can call it. I don't know if it's Twitter or it's X. After that, you gotta stick with one. And I still just go Twitter.
Okay, so I'm sticking with Twitter.
Okay.
At Pete's Sake Pod. That's how you find us, at Pete's Sake Pod. And we would like some feedback from you, the fans, maybe a coach or a student athlete you'd like to hear from here on the podcast. We bring that up because coming up later today on this, our pilot episode, we will hear from running back Devin Mockobee. We'll also hear from Purdue head football coach Barry Odom. They'll be our first two guests on the podcast here for our opening episode, but maybe there's someone you would be interested in hearing from. Please reach out to us. Let us know. Also, I've been told, Joey, you are comfortable with giving out your own personal Twitter and Instagram. Yes, if fans would like to reach out to you.
Not too personal when it's public like that. So, yeah. I
don't know how these things
simple
work.
Google search, but yeah. I mean, we'd love to hear from Boilermaker fans on all those aspects. Love getting feedback, chiming in, something you want to talk about on the show. Because this episode is a little different because we haven't been on the field for a game with football, volleyball's just starting up and everything. So, once we get into this season of shows, we'll be able to talk more about what's going on the field, hear about things that Coach Odom is going to talk to us about later in the episode, but what we're seeing with our own eyes. So open to any and all of those things, obviously.
I do not have Instagram. again, because of my age demographic, but I do have Twitter. My children were able to talk me into doing that and teach me how to use it. So you can find me on Twitter at @onair_R Blackman. I know that's a bit confusing, but at @onair_R Blackman.
And I'm at Joey Mulinaro everywhere. I take it you're not on TikTok.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still thinks it's just a
I'm sorry.
plug. Yeah.
Again, my apologies. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I've already mentioned, coming up today on the program, head coach Barry Odom, talking Boilermaker football. Coming up on the program, Devin Mockobee, RB1. He'll be joining us to talk Boilermaker football and more specifically his journey to Purdue as a redshirt freshman coming in, not only as, a redshirt freshman, as a walk-on who was redshirted as a freshman and then is now in a position to become one of the all-time leaders in the history of Purdue rushing the football. So they will be our two special guests. But when we come back, just a very short break, when we come back, it's our Lafayette Limo liftoff segment.
They know.
Anything and everything that's going on around the Purdue athletics campus at this very moment as we begin prepping for what is the start of the 2025-26 athletics season. This is the For Pete's Sake podcast, and we'll be back right after this. Time now for what we like to call our liftoff segment. It's brought to you by Lafayette Limo, family-owned, women-owned, serving Greater Lafayette for over 38 years. Shuttles to and from Indianapolis and O'Hare airports 365 days a year. Make your reservations now at LafayetteLimo.com. Lafayette Limo, proud sponsor of Purdue Athletics. Joey, maybe best for our first-time podcast listeners, fans, hopefully they're fans already, to know our background, our story on our Purdue fandom, how we came to be huge fans of the Boilermakers.
Yeah.
You go first.
Okay, good, because I know there's people who are alums and who are fans and who listen to you every week who are just like, who is this and what's going on here? And your introduction to me was great, and I appreciate it. But it is real. It is real, folks. I did marry a Purdue cheerleader.
Yes.
Riley Kristen. I'm going to drop the name. She's now Riley Molinaro. She's class of 2018. So she would have been Jeff Brom's first year was her last year as a cheerleader in football. And then she went to Madison Square Garden for the Big Ten tournament, all of that. So anyways, that's to say we met the summer before her senior year. And I had no tie to Purdue at all, besides some of my best friends went there. And I had heard of Harry's Chocolate Shop. And
what a surprise.
And I was like, all right, yeah, that sounds cool. And then I had this cheerleader I'm dating, and she's great. And so then I was already out of school. And so when she went back up to Purdue, pretty much when I wasn't working and every weekend that I could, I was up here with her. And I was going to watch her cheer in Ross-Ade, all the football games, and really just getting to fall in love and experience Purdue without all the hard academics and just being able to come have fun on the weekend with my girlfriend, right? And so from that, I just fell in love with it. I went to the University of Indianapolis, and I had a great time there, but it wasn't like that traditional big school, Saturday game day, rah-rah. And so I came up here and I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, I just fell in love with the campus, fell in love with the people, obviously fell in love with my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, and we have 2 kids. And from that point on, in 2017, 2018, I have just been black and gold through and through, repping the Boilers, following it along. And so then when Patrick and the folks at Purdue reached out, I was so honored, so thrown by. We still joke about it, me and my wife, about like, who would have thought that the summer of 2017, when we were dating and we were like, well, you're going to make this work, I'm going back to Purdue. Luckily, we decided to make it work. That then flash forward 8 years, I'd be doing the official Purdue Athletic podcast with yourself, the legend, Rob Blackman. It's crazy.
The great irony, she did have to go through the rigors of Purdue academically. And on top of that, be a student athlete as a cheerleader.
I know.
She did all the hard work, and here you are you're doing the podcast.
I get all the perks. I get the gear. I get the seat set. I get it all, man. I get to talk to Coach Odom. It's unbelievable. I'm a lucky guy.
That's unfair for her.
Yeah, she's still mad at me because I was in one of the graduation videos and she wasn't. I made it into a graduation video, shaking Mitch Daniels' hand before she made it into a graduation video.
You're like, that dude didn't even go to school here.
Honorary Boiler, and I was worried about that. I was worried when they asked, because I was like, man, I don't want people from Purdue to be like, this guy's not even a real Boiler. And then I find out you yourself didn't even go to Purdue either.
I did not. As I like to tell folks, I wasn't smart enough to get into Purdue.
Same.
I grew up a Purdue fan, though. Grew up in Monticello, Indiana, right? Just about 30 minutes north of campus.
Okay.
So by proximity, if nothing else, I was always rooting for the Boilermakers.
Did you come to games when you were?
Came to games, football games. Give you the backstory, especially on football. My best buddy, one of my best buddies in high school, his name was Todd Downs. His mother, Carlita, was the longtime football secretary here at Purdue.
Okay.
So she helped set me up with tickets, so I'd come with the Downs family on Saturdays here as a high school and junior high kid to come watch games. But yeah, I mean, proximity, of no other reason, kind of had me originally being a big fan of Purdue. And again, because of my age, back when I was a young person, elementary school age, junior high age, you didn't have a lot of options on the television. But one option you did have on your antenna was Channel 18, CBS affiliate out of Lafayette, which showed the Purdue games. So I could watch Purdue basketball and football. So that was my team.
Who was your first Purdue athlete that you remember that really hooked you?
Troy Lewis.
Okay.
Yep, Troy Lewis. I was junior high aged, and that was like, and that was, of course, the three amigos, a really good team, obviously Big Ten champions, and Coach Katie and the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the group. He and that group of guys like, man, this is awesome. Purdue is freaking awesome. But yeah, I did not, I shouldn't say I did not attend Purdue. I do have 3 credit hours from Purdue.
Really?
I took a intro to psych 100 level class the summer after my freshman year of college. Again, because of proximity, I could drive to West Lafayette every day. So I did get 3 hours. I do have 3 hours of credit.
There you go.
Which is 3 more than you have.
Well, I have a lot of hours of credit at Mad Mush and Harry's Chocolate Shop. So, and formerly Where Else too.
Yes.
We could get some of those. So I'm well versed. Got my PhD out there on that. So very excited.
So
about
I'm not
it.
a Purdue grad. Neither is Joey. But we obviously love our Boilermakers.
We do. Mine was David Blau, Marcus Bailey, and Carson Edwards. Those are my 3 guys when I first came about in my later years. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning Carson Edwards. This is our liftoff segment, which is where we try to talk a little bit about what's going on around the Purdue Athletics campus. Now, not all of our fall sports teams have gotten rolling just yet as far as games or matches, meets. They're practicing, but they haven't all started. Purdue men's and women's basketball, they did practice this summertime because the NCAA allows that now. You get 4 hours a week basically to practice. Purdue men's basketball, they choose to do two 2-hour blocks as a team. And I'm not telling our fans anything they don't already know here, Joey, but there's a lot of excitement about that upcoming Purdue basketball season.
Just a little bit. Got some guys coming back. Added some guys as well that a lot of people are excited about, and I've been told we are trying to work on the old Oscar Meyer situation.
Oh yes, combining
Clough,
Oscar Clough and Omer Meyer.
Yep.
Yes.
Maybe we get a social media campaign going. I don't know if it's a hashtag. Do you know what a hashtag is, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think I do.
Okay.
It's
formerly the pound sign for your generation.
Yes.
Do we? Hashtag,
have we checked with either Oscar or Omer about this, by the way?
I don't know.
This seems to be.
Have we? No?
I think the
okay.
fans seem to be excited about this. I'm not certain they would be as excited.
Oh,
I don't know.
Sometimes the fandom, they got to start their own movement. But we are excited about both of them being a part of the program.
Oscar from Australia, Omer from Tel Aviv, Israel. Originally, Oscar has had a great college career to this point.
Yep.
If you follow these kind of things, he was ranked the #1 overall transfer portal guy out of the last year's transfer this past offseason. So good to have him aboard. Averaged a double-double last year in college in what was, he thought, his senior year, but now he gets one more year, and we're happy for that. Omer Meyer obviously had a great summer playing for Team Israel, played for both the U19s and the U20s. Has a point guard for Israel in the FIBA games. Both of those guys are on campus working out. Great to have them. Liam Murphy, also an addition from North Florida. Really good three-point shooter, led his conference last year in three-point shooting. So happy to have him on board. And, the one freshman that really hasn't gotten much much talked about, I think because of so much of the incoming transfers, is Antoine West from Toledo, who was really good in the summer workouts, at least the ones I saw. So, excited for this team. I know Coach Painter's excited. Obviously, we're a long ways away from basketball season starting, but there's been a lot of hype about this year's ball club, and as well there should be. There are some fall sports that are off and running, though, by the way. Coach Shondell and the volleyball Boilermakers beating Valparaiso in an exhibition match last week. The regular season actually starts Friday, August 29th. They're down in Tennessee to play USF and then the University of Tennessee. That's their opening weekend. But Coach Shondell is an interesting team this year. Young team. I think I read like 70% of his team is either sophomore or freshman. 6 freshmen on the team, 5 transfers on the team. So it's a new-look Boilermakers club. But as I like to say, in Dave Shondell we trust.
Absolutely.
We were always good at volleyball.
Absolutely.
What are we?
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
Are we worried about?
Absolutely. And nice little tie-in here for this episode. I don't know if you saw that Coach Odom and his staff, the football staff, put together some words of encouragement for the volleyball team before they got on their embarkment of this season. They each wrote a Post-it note and was able to pass it along. Words of encouragement, good luck for Coach Shondell in this squad. Pretty solid. New guy coming in and setting the standard, the tone.
I like it.
I think that just speaks kind of more as a whole for Purdue athletics in general.
Women's soccer, they're off to a good start.
Yeah. First time since 2019, 2-0.
Have beaten Indiana State, have beaten Ball State. Good start for Coach Moody. They go 2-0.
Now, you've been here so long. Have you been able to venture out, I take it, and be able to go to soccer games, baseball games? I'm fresh. I got to do that.
So I go to a ton of baseball games. Funny story on Purdue women's soccer. I had never called play-by-play of a soccer game ever at any level. And it was the first year, if I remember correctly, the first year of Big Ten Network. For some reason, they got in a pinch with a Purdue home soccer game. Our women were playing Northwestern on a Sunday afternoon. And I got a call like Saturday afternoon. Hey, the guy or gal, whomever was going to do the play-by-play for whatever reason can't. We know you have some play-by-play experience. Have you ever done soccer? Well, I, of course, lied and said, well, yes, because I wanted the gig. So the first ever Purdue women's soccer game I ever saw with my own 2 eyes, I actually called it live for the Big Ten.
Wow, you're braver than I. I would have been like, not your guy. I pass along somebody else.
I needed the money.
Yeah.
But I did not. I don't think the broadcast probably went particularly well. I'm not really sure. I was so embarrassed I never went back and watched. But that was the first time ever.
Did you get to yell goal?
Yes, I remember very well. There was only 1 goal scored, and Purdue scored it. It was 1-0 was the final.
Look at you with nil. You know enough to know it's 1-0.
Yeah. Well, since then my daughter became a good little high school soccer player, so I have learned the game since. But yes, that was the first time. The only thing, I hope folks don't mind me going off on a tangent.
No, I love it. That's what podcasts are.
Here's the only thing I did well in that entire broadcast. Ryan Kerrigan, who I know is a personal friend of yours, by the way. He was at the game because, I hope I'm not getting in trouble here, his girlfriend at the time played on the soccer team. I don't know if that ended up being his wife or not. Maybe I shouldn't have ventured down this road. Anyway, Ryan Kerrigan was at the game, and we needed a halftime guest. And I said, I can handle this one.
Yeah, this
is the one part of the broadcast I will get right.
Can he actually stay in the booth for the second half?
Right. And maybe he can call it. So they were so thrilled with me in the production truck, like, man, great interview. I'm like, well, this is actually one thing I know about our best team player on our football team. But anyway, I went down a path there. Maybe I should not have. But
back. No, I love it. Hey, I'm the one who asked the question, so
you did.
Got to get out there.
So look, we still have other sports that, as we get more into the further episodes of For Pete's Sake podcast, assuming Joey and I haven't been fired after episode 1, we can talk about things like men's and women's cross country, and men's and women's golf, and some other sports that are going to get going here in the very near future. But we just want to give you a little taste of what maybe you can expect with our liftoff segment as we venture forward here on the For Pete's Sake podcast.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think we got 2 conversations that we're ready to get to, right?
Yeah. I'm just, I don't know why I'm taking so much time with this segment. The listeners, they want Barry Odom. They want to hear from the head ball coach. Why am I taking up so much time?
Oh.
This is all my fault. We will take a very short break. And when we come back, the head ball coach of your Purdue football Boilermakers, Barry Odom, will be our guest. Please stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, to the For Pete's Sake podcast, the official podcast for Purdue Athletics. Thank you for joining us here in the maiden voyage of our first ever edition of the For Pete's Sake podcast. As promised, before we went to that last commercial break, time now for our big interview segment, brought to you by your Central Indiana Ford dealers, proud sponsors of Purdue Athletics. Visit your local Central Indiana Ford dealer today. And guess what? I promised it, and here he is. Barry Odom, the head coach of our Boilermaker football program, is with us here.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Coach, come on.
Announced as the new head coach of our Boilermakers, I believe December the 8th, if my record keeping is correct, Coach Odom. That's early December 2024. Here we are mid-August 2025, and less than 2 weeks away from game number 1. With that said, has it been a whirlwind of preparation, I suppose, in basically eight and a half months to get ready for the start of a football season with a brand new team at a brand new school?
Isn't it amazing? Honored to be with you guys today. Thank you for the time. And you look at 8 months ago and then taking on this opportunity and looking at really 50,000-foot view, what do you do? And everything happens so fast. And I've told our staff and our team all the time that, man, the days are long, but the weeks are so fast. And anytime you get a little bit closer to kickoff, you feel the urgency a little bit more. But really excited about the organization. And I knew, obviously, of Purdue, growing up in sport. I actually coached against Purdue in 2018 here at Ross-Ade, so I'd seen the environment firsthand. The leadership of Mr. Babinski was unbelievable throughout the interview process. I was attracted to that. And then you get here, and the people of this region, the people that support Purdue, the people of the state of Indiana, has been amazing. I feel a direct responsibility to get our football program back for the people of Purdue. And we're going to do it in the qualities that people understand, they respect, and they're going to be excited about how we go play ball this year.
I can't imagine and this is not your first go-around as a head coach, so you do have obviously some experience with this, but putting together a football program and doing it in a short amount of time. We don't have enough time in this podcast to go through everything that it entails, but for our listeners, do you mind going through some of the specifics and, more importantly, some of the legwork that goes into assembling a staff, a support staff, coming up with enough players, quality players, recruiting, all of those things that you have to get done in a very short amount of time?
Well, the great thing here, the facility has been built, so you're not trying to step in and turn something into that doesn't exist. Our football operations center is one of the best in the country. So you kind of put a check mark on that one. There's things that you have to do once you take over with facilities, but that was not one of them. The immediate was to get our team right and to get, the first team meeting I had, we only had about 40 guys in the team meeting because everybody had kind of left.
Sure.
So then you look at, okay, we better go roster management and build this as fast as we can through high school recruiting, through the transfer portal, all the things. But you got to get a staff together during that time. And out of respect of the people that we brought in, most of them were still coaching in a bowl game with their respective school.
Right.
So I knew who I was hiring, but I allowed them to finish their bowl game and coaching their team before we really got together as a full staff. If I had to do it again, I probably would have got them here a couple of days before then. It was a lot of, I'd have a staff meeting every day, and in that staff meeting, it was one guy, so I was talking to myself. So we put it together, and they did a great job organizationally, from sports medicine to nutrition to strength and conditioning, all the different elements that touch your players, that touch your student athletes, to allow them have success and the student athlete experience. You build that together. I'm really excited about the group that we have. We've got 82 new players on our team that were not here in December. And that's an undertaking that really you take a step back, and then you've got to galvanize those guys into a team. And it doesn't matter if they've got 5 months with us or if they've got 5 years. It's all about Purdue, and let's get them in line and ready to go play winning ball.
Coach, in that short amount of time to get that many guys on the same page, how do you attack that in terms of, is it team bonding activities? Is it just getting into the facilities together to do work, whether it be on the field or in the weight room? How do you go about that?
I think you look really, and we all know every team is so different. So there's not a manual that you turn to page 7 and say, okay, this is exactly what you do in that situation. So I think some experience. We at UNLV we had a huge number of roster turnover my first year there. So some of those things that I saw that worked, we applied here. We set a standard and an expectation of culturally what we're going to be and how we're going to go to work, and those guys have bought in. And really, we signed 46 guys after spring practice. So the guys that were here through winter conditioning, spring ball, then their voice in the locker room has been huge. But I think you've got to be direct about relationship building. You've got to be open. You've got to be honest. And you've got to make sure that there is vision and structure and discipline in everything that you're doing. And the team is hungry for that. So that's been fun building. We're not there yet. We're getting close. But I like the way that our team has taken every phase of the program and now made it theirs.
Is that credit to somebody like Devin Mockobee who comes back? You look at somebody like, who's going to be a senior, who's been here through a lot of different versions of this program and everything. Now, I mean, you really lean on somebody like him to steer the ship. Absolutely.
You look at Devin for sure on the work that he puts in every single day. His really passion for Purdue University is unmatched. Not only to be a great football player, but a mechanical engineering degree, about to be a graduate of that school. He cares deeply about doing it and doing it the right way and doing it at a high level. So I've leaned on him. There were guys that played for me before that ended up transferring here. They've been a strong voice in the locker room to be able to talk about what a Monday practice looks like or the off-season program, some of those things. And those voices, they carry so much weight in when the coaches are not around. I'm thankful for what Mockobee's done and some of the other guys that ended up here that have some experience.
Yeah, along those lines, you did bring some players from UNLV, a few coaches, not all of your coaches, but some were with you at UNLV or at other stops where you've coached before. What about the importance of having those folks, players and or coaches, that are familiar with you, your style, your program?
Well, I think really we've got a great staff, not only a teacher of X's and O's, but also just the understanding of what it takes to put a game plan together, and then educate our players on the reasons we're calling a play. In some capacity, I've worked with almost every one of them, and that's been relieving in my chair to be able to sit back and I understand that Josh Henson and I have known each other for a long, long time, and the way that he is running the offense and the things he's doing in the meeting rooms, I've got great trust and belief in. James Shivas and I worked together at UNLV. Previously, we worked together at Memphis. I've seen his ability to change games in the special teams play, and the way he is able to motivate and keep the team making elite special teams plays has been really huge for us, and it will this year. And then Mike Shear, I had a chance, our defensive coordinator, I recruited him, coached him, and then we worked together at Missouri, at Arkansas, at UNLV, and then now here. So, I've got great belief in those guys, in the job that they're doing and will do, and thankful for them.
You got 16 core values that you've talked about that are forming the Purdue way, and I've seen that you mentioned. What are some of those, and how do you continue to build them into what you want to see this program be?
I think you look at that, and you always have a foundation of what you believe in, and where you gather those experiences, for me, have been stops every step of the way. I've been fortunate. I've worked with some really, really good people. I've had a chance to be around Hall of Fame coaches and just really good dudes, and at every level, and I've been very thankful for that. So I've taken a little bit of, from Gary Pinkel when I worked for him for years, Justin Fuente at Memphis when I worked for him, Sam Pittman at Arkansas, and then other guys that you lean on in the industry. I had, when I was a head coach at Missouri, I had Bill Snyder, who is a longtime coach at Kansas State, come and speak. And I spent hours and hours with him, and he had philosophies on how he built K-State. And some of those still, I don't think you can ever just copycat and say, hey, this is exactly what we're doing. But I took some information from there about toughness and about togetherness and about teamwork and unity and all the different things that really each individual is so much responsible for. Not the height and the weight and the speed and the quickness, but the values that we're in control of every single day, that'll help build this program the right way.
And a good one to listen to, right? Bill Snyder, who took over a perennial doormat at Kansas State and turned them into, as most of our fans probably know, a really good football program. So that's a good guy to lean on. Maybe I should save this question for the end, but I'm going to ask it now. Why Purdue?
Yeah.
What made Purdue so attractive to you? Because obviously you're a fairly young guy. You've had some success in the coaching business. I'm sure there are a lot of opportunities out there. Why Purdue?
I think this is an elite job. I think it's special because of the people. I think you look at the geographic location. If you draw a 5-hour radius around West Lafayette, the number of places you can get recruiting. There's great high school coaches in the state and the area, really good players. But deeper than that, for me, it started with leadership with President Chang. It started with leadership of Mike Babinski. Their vision on what they expect and want and are going to support football to be, that's where it started. And then also, it helped that I know this area really well geographically in the Midwest. I grew up Midwest, Mid-South, and the tradition that Purdue has and all the great quarterbacks, the number of championships they've had an opportunity in bowl games. There is a tradition here that I want to bring the place back to. So there are a number of different things that went into it. You're in alignment with an opportunity in the strongest brand of college football right now in the Big Ten. Yeah. And we're excited about what we're going to build here and those opportunities.
When you go from UNLV to Purdue, and you mentioned geographic location, where you can recruit, how does that change your recruiting process in terms of, just staying in this area? I feel like it's got to be probably pretty vast difference from being all the way out in Vegas to being here in West Lafayette. What are the changes there? Or now in this landscape of college football, is it really all kind of the same for everybody?
I think we're more national than maybe some places have been in the past 10 to 15 years, just because of the way transfers and the portal opportunities exist. So I've always looked at, when I went to Vegas, everybody said, well, how are you going to recruit in the West? You've never lived here. You've never worked here. Yeah. Recruiting is, to me, it's about time, effort, being direct, building relationships, and then the high school coaches of the places that you're recruiting, they know if they send a student athlete to play for you, that they're going to graduate with a great degree, they're going to be coached really well, you're going to win games and have an opportunity to play in the NFL. And everywhere we've been, that has been the approach. And I think for me, geographically, you can be Chicago, you could be Detroit, you could be Nashville, you can be St. Louis, all in that radius. There's this really good ball here. So I think we've got to be select and direct and be great at recruiting in state. We got a long ways to go to get where we need to be. We talked early on with our program and still talking about hope, vision, and belief. And then at some point there's going to be validation because of the results that we have. I think there's some recruits that are waiting to see that. But also, if you're just genuine, you're open, you provide them how they're going to the vision of how they're going to have success here, we're going to recruit at a high level.
One of those recruits is your son, Garrett, a quarterback. That has to be a blast, I would think, coaching your kid.
It's thankfully all three of our kids, they all three take after their mother in looks, in athletic ability, and so he's in good favor there. It's hard. I love it. Now, we had an oldest son that played for us at UNLV as well, played linebacker, but the quarterback position's so different. And I told him, I didn't want him to come here because if he ever gets in position that he's the starting quarterback, the things that go along with that, because we share the same last name. Right. And then he goes in the locker room every day after practice, and we have tough days, and everybody's talking about, well, that's also my dad, Right. So he's got to handle it. So it will help him. We've got to, the things that he will go through. I never coached my kids when they were younger. I always made an excuse that I was too busy, and sure. I look back at that now, and experience, proves you learn as you go. Yeah. And I wouldn't trade the opportunities now. He's been on the team since January. I love every single minute of it. There's times he'll pop in the office and he'll say, hey, Dad, I need to talk to you. And then there's times he'll pop in and say, hey, Coach, we need to talk. So he's handled it so well.
Distinction? Yeah. Okay.
Which one concerns you more, when he addresses you as coach or Dad?
You know exactly which one that is. But, it's been great. Our family, my wife and I have been married 25 years. We've been so blessed by this game and really honored to be at Purdue University.
Now, you mentioned quarterbacks, and obviously, what we do in this business would be called a segue, Coach.
Yeah.
So
I teed it up for you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, well, Rob and then you. We're all pros here, so this is good. What is that quarterback battle looking like? And now with just less than 2 weeks until Game 1 against Ball State out there, who can Boilermaker fans expect to see out there being quarterback one?
Yeah, I think you look at how important that position is. In my opinion, it's the most important position in all of sport, more than the point guard, more than the shortstop. I mean, they impact the game every single snap. And I feel like our quarterback room, Coach Henson as the coordinator, Coach Henshaw as the quarterback's coach, they've been very deliberate with the process. And we set out that we were going to go all the way through fall camp. And there's going to be equality in the reps that they take and moving with different numbers throughout fall camp. And they've held true. I've pushed it a little bit more, and as a coach, remember the process we talked about.
What do you mean push?
I'm anxious to
get the answer.
Let's get there.
Yeah.
And I think I do believe I'm dancing around the subject in the question.
Yes.
I do believe we're going to have to play more than one quarterback this year. I mean, you look at it's a 14-week season. 12 games, 2 bye weeks. It's a long season, and if you don't have your quarterback number 2 ready and your quarterback number 3, if something happens, that's failure by the organization, by me, if we're not getting guys ready to play. So we're getting really close. Guys have improved every single day in that room like they have the team. I think we'll have the right guy out there, and we'll see how they play. And then we got to have the next guy ready to go.
Is it going to be like game day roll out there? Hey, here's your guy, or is there going to be like an announcement come from you guys?
No, I think for our team, they I think are starting to feel it a little bit with the top 2 guys. You can see that transpiring a little bit. You hear the leadership vocally stepping up a little bit more by a couple of guys. So we're getting really close. And I just we were going to start on Thursday. Will be our first preparation practice for our first game, just strictly dedicated for our first opponent. We want to have our continuity there with our ones when they roll out and go play and go practice.
Now that first game, fans, August 30th, 12 noon, Ross-Age Stadium. The Ball State Cardinals will be visiting. Coach, we will visit with you again after that game number 1 against Ball State, which will be a couple of weeks from now. But thank you for joining us on the big interview, and good luck getting our ball club ready for that season opener.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And, man, I'm so excited and honored to lead this football program, and we're going to get it going right.
That is Barry Odom, the head coach of our Boilermaker football program. More coming up on the For Pete's Sake podcast in just a moment. Just a little bit ago, my broadcast partner mentioned Devin Mockobee's name. Wouldn't you know it? He'll be joining us in just a second when we come back, so stay with us. And welcome back, everyone. The For Pete's Sake podcast continues. As promised, time to talk to the mock train, Devin Mockobee, the senior. Do that louder, Joey. I like that. The senior from
weak, sorry.
I thought it was cool. Right. The mock train from Boonville, Indiana. Came to West Lafayette as a walk-on, just hoping to, hey, maybe I'll get on the special teams one of these days. Oh, no. Now as a senior, he is slowly but surely tracking down Mike Allstott for the all-time career leader in the history of Purdue rushing yardage. More on that in a moment. But first, welcome, Devin Mockobee. Nice to have you with us, man.
Thank you for having me.
Where did you get the nickname Mock Train? Was that a Purdue thing, or did you have that in Boonville?
That was back in high school.
Okay.
Back in high school, I think that's where,
then.
maybe.
Nice. Boonville Pioneers, Southern Indiana. You were an outstanding high school football player, but really good in track and field too, right?
Yeah.
State champion, help me here.
In long jump.
Long jump. State champion in long jump. In high hurdles, were you a state qualifier?
Got second place in that, runner-up.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. That's not bad. All right, so I teased it. I had a little fun with it when we brought you on. You come to Purdue as a walk-on, and I spoke for you. I probably shouldn't have, but I'm assuming you're thinking, hey, man, if I can just make the travel squad, I've had a heck of a run. And now here you are. Not only are you a full scholarship player, but as I mentioned, you're one of the top running backs in all of the Big Ten. Do you mind speaking about that journey?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely been a long one, just because coming in as a walk-on, that nothing's set in stone or where you're going to be at. So I knew from the get-go I was going to have to fight for anything and everything that I wanted, But, coming up, walking on, and then being right at the bottom of the depth chart, it's hard to try and fight your way up, but, just attacking it every day. But, coming in, shoot. It was tough. Those first years, that redshirt year was definitely a rough one for me. But, I just kept at it. And then eventually I got that opportunity where, I came into the season my redshirt freshman year, and I was fourth on the depth chart, But guys ended up falling out. So next man up mentality, I ended up getting my chance. And then I kind of literally ran away with it, I guess.
Yeah. Rob was just mentioning all your high school track accolades. Does that kind of transfer over into your running style a little bit? Because, I feel like you got some long strides. You're hurdling, you're leaping, you're doing it all. That impacts you in that way?
I definitely think I think it's just one of those things with how I move. It kind of helped me out with both hurdles and coming onto the football field, just because, like everyone says, I got those crazy legs and I'm just really wiry all over the place. So I don't know. I think it's definitely something that helped me a lot.
Did you have a running back, maybe a college one or one professionally in the NFL that you watched that impacted how you run? Your style?
Honestly, there was no one that I really watched where I picked up from them and kind of went after. I've always just kind of had my own style and how I run. So I wouldn't say I really model myself after anybody per se.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm old. My memory is terrible. You'll have to, even though I've been around Purdue football for now 22 seasons, help refresh my memory. When you were a redshirt freshman, who were the older running backs? Who were the seniors, juniors at that point?
We had a senior, King Doru.
Yep, sure.
Dylan Downing.
Yep.
And there was one more.
Did you, at that point, so you're watching those guys, you're a redshirt freshman, they're upperclassmen. Are you thinking to yourself, man, I don't know if I'm ever moving up this depth chart with guys like this in front of me?
Well, when you have a depth chart set like that, especially when you have older guys on the roster, you feel like those guys are kind of set in stone and the spots that they kind of have. So all you can do is, like I was saying, all you can do is come and fight and try to do the best that you can every day, especially when you're talking about practice when I'm not getting any game reps,
Right.
So all I can do is, and they kept telling me, hey, man, you're doing a great job. It's just these little things because we haven't put you on the field yet. We don't know. So that was the only thing. But, yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you don't know what's in store for you when you come in.
Dude, I want to know about this mechanical engineering degree that you're going after.
Yeah.
The way that I sprinted away from math and science when as first I possibly could, it was like you run away from defenders, man. So you are not only trying to make the squad, make an impact on the squad, but now you're balancing this degree from one of the most prestigious universities. What kind of mental capacity and fortitude are you working with here, man? This is insane. What's your daily grind like with football and with school?
It was rough. My schedule from the moment that I got here till now, this is probably the easiest my schedule has looked my entire career. But, yeah, it's been going home and then you basically doing homework till you go to sleep, wake up, straight to football, go home, go to class, work till you go to sleep. It's just been, but once you do it for 5 years straight,
you're kind of used to it.
Easier. So
with mechanical engineering though, are we talking do you want to work for an IndyCar team, a NASCAR team?
I would definitely be open to.
Yeah?
I want to go into the automotive sector somehow, but if I got picked up by a race team and was able to work for them, that'd be pretty ideal.
What exactly? So you'd be fine tuning the cars, running that?
Yeah, something like that. Whenever you're talking about R&D, like research and development, figuring out parts, okay, we have to improve on something. What do we do about that? And that just whole process within that I'm pretty interested in.
You're very lucky because both Joey and I are total IndyCar nerds. Am I saying
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so
it
we
gets
could
me
literally
fired
talk
up.
IndyCar the whole time. We don't even need to talk football if you don't want to.
Hey,
You been to the 500? Sorry.
I've never been to the Indy 500. Never.
He can
Because
change that.
I've only ever been around really the drag race because I grew up in a drag racing family. That's really the only motorsports that I've really been around growing up. So I've never been really around track cars and stuff like that.
Yeah. You've never been to the Tri-State Speedway in Hobstadt, Indiana for dirt track racing?
You know what? I have been there once.
I knew it.
I've been there once.
Not to stereotype, but everyone from Boonville has been to the Tri-State Speedway. I live down in that area. I should know. All right, so mechanical engineering. You will have your degree, this spring?
This December.
No, this December.
Yep, I graduated
man.
this semester.
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome. I also want to bring up this past summer, a $10,000 donation from you out of your pocket personally to Boonville Youth Football.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah,
You mind
appreciate
speaking
that.
on that and giving back to your community?
I mean, yeah, I think with the position that I'm in today, and especially with the NIL realm, I think that obviously the position that I've in hasn't been just on me. Yes, I've worked hard for it, but there have been a lot of hands and a lot of people that have given me support along the way. And a lot of that goes back to the hometown, and that youth league. I would not be here today if it weren't for that youth league. So I just thought it'd be good to, give back to those kids and whatnot, and be able to put them in a better position, and so that they can maximize and have as much fun with it like I did. So I mean, I just thought it was the right thing to do.
That's awesome, man. Good for you. I feel like this is my last question for you, but that kind of speaks into, last year was rough. You're trying to bounce off of last year, and I'm sure you had opportunities to maybe venture elsewhere, but you want to stay at Purdue. Why Purdue for you? Somebody, I'm sure you had options to go elsewhere. Why stay and try to get this thing going again?
I mean, just like we were talking about with the degree and coming in as a walk-on, my first priority was always my engineer, my degree, just because that's how I was raised, like the 40-year plan, not the 4-year plan. So I knew that was going to be priority number one, and I can't just get up and walk away and just go find this somewhere else,
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, I've been here. This is my home, so it'd be more of a pain for me to pack it up and move somewhere else than to just stay and fight it out for one more.
We cannot let you leave the podcast without talking a little Purdue football and this year's team. You're a guy you've seen it from both ends, quite frankly. You've been on a team that played in a bowl game. You've been on a team that only won one game in a season. How are the 2025 Boilermakers shaping up? What can our fans expect once this season gets rolling here on August 30th?
I think that we're attacking it just the right way, especially with Coach Odom's system and how he approaches every day in practice, and how he pushes all of the support staff and all of us, just because we don't let anything slide. It's about accountability to the highest standard, because if you let one thing slip, you're continuing to let more things slip away, and then where's the standard at then? So him holding us to a certain standard and attacking that every single day, I think it's been great for us, and I think it puts us in the best position to come into the season and actually win games,
Before we cut him loose, fans know this. He's on the Doak Walker Award watch list. He's on the Warfel Award watch list. Purdue hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher since Corey Sheets in 2008. We think this guy can change that this season. And as I mentioned to start the segment, he is closing in on Mike Allstott's record of the all-time leading rusher in the history of Purdue football. Will he get there? Well, we'll find out at the end of the season. You do have a very good shot of at least making it into the top three. I know that. I've paid very close attention to these kind of things. Devin, thank you. Good luck against Ball State. Good luck this season, and thanks for joining us on the For Pete's Sake podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you a lot.
Good luck.
One segment to go on the podcast. Stay with us. Well, there you go, folks. That is it. Pilot episode number 1 of For Pete's Sake, the podcast, is in the books. Joey, your initial criticisms and or thoughts of show number 1.
Well, I just think that it works out so perfectly. No better place than to have a pilot episode than Purdue.
Oh.
I mean, I wish that we could just fully take claim of that.
Why did I not think of that earlier?
It's fantastic. But no, Coach Odom, loved his conversation with him. Everything he had to say just got me fired up for August 30th and for the season to get here. And really just being here with you in this amazing set, just going to be more thankful, dude. I'm excited.
Loved hearing from Devin Mockobee.
Yes.
What a great story he is. And I thought he had a great the one thing I want to make sure I talk about before we get out of here, the fact that he said, I wanted to have a 40-year plan, not a 4-year plan. That was pretty awesome.
He was cooking with that one. Yeah, that's something to live by for sure.
Well, reminder, fans, hopefully you liked what you saw and or listened to here today. Let us know either way, because this is your show. This is the show for Purdue Athletics fans. You can find us at Pete's Sake Pod on Twitter or Instagram. Leave us your thoughts. Leave us maybe an idea for a show topic, or maybe a student athlete or coach you would like to hear from later on, as we, again, Joey and I will assume we haven't been fired after episode 1, and there will be an episode number 2. Big thank you to our executive producer, Patrick Crawford, Corey Palm, our producer and director, and also to those working behind the scenes, McCarty Cummings, L.J. Jackson, Brad Summer, and Will Cabral, all very instrumental in making sure that the first ever For Pete's Sake podcast has gone off somewhat flawlessly. We will speak again after the first football game, right, Joe?
Yes,
Yeah.
after Ball State, so that would be early September.
Yeah, so let's just say that first week in September, fans, will be episode number 2 of the For Pete's Sake podcast. For Joey Mulinaro, I'm Rob Blackman. We'll see you at Ross-Age Stadium on August 30th. Boiler up, everyone.
Boiler up. Always wanted to say that.